welcome back to another video, and today we've got my March bullet journal plan with me video. And this is probably one of my favorite spreads that I've done, but I wasn't expecting it to be. And I know I say that with pretty much every spread, and I know I said it in the last one, but this one is probably my new favorite one. So for this month, I decided to do a little crystal theme, and for the first page, I decided to do this quote that I found on Pinterest, where it says, "You know the world is a magical place when Mother Earth grows her own jewelry." So I thought this was a really nice quote to put on this little extra page that I had on the side here. I used my brush pens and some fine liners from Art and Fly, and did like a little simple quote page. And then I just used my Art and Fly fine liners to draw out some crystals all around. And for the first couple times that I sketched these out, I put the clips in real time so you guys could see how I draw them. So basically what I do to draw these crystals is I just loosely draw random geometric shapes, and then once I've drawn out all the shapes that I want, I'll go back in and just draw lines from each corner and try and make them kind of meet in weird ways inside the crystal. Does that make sense? You'll see shortly what I mean. So I just kind of draw out different lines from each of the corners that I've drawn and kind of make them meet at odd places. And you can totally be as crazy as you want with this. It's really nice if you've never done anything like this before, like me. It's really fun to figure it out, and it's kind of like a puzzle. I really like it. So it's not as hard as it seems to draw these little crystals, I will assure you. So if you feel like you might struggle to draw these out, I think you should give them a try. So I basically drew out all these crystals all around the quote, and my main color for this month is going to be purple. So for the purples, I was using mainly my Tombow dual brush pen in this like light violet color, but I also went in some of the spreads with my Sakura brush pen in light blue, or sky blue I think it's called, just to add some little, bluish tints here and there in some of the crystals. But mainly the color for this month is violet. So to color in the crystals, I just went in very loosely, very fast with my Tombow brush pen, just kind of colored in most of the sides, but left some of the sides of the crystals very untouched, and I think it added a really cool effect onto them. So now for the actual title page of March, I just basically wrote down March with my calligraphy pen, and then just drew a bunch of crystals all around it to do this sort of like wreath crystal situation, and I think it ended up looking really beautiful. I'm very proud of myself. And then of course I couldn't miss out on doing my little monthly overview bit over down there at the bottom using my thin Art and Fly fine liners. I then use my little Staedtler highlighter in purple to add a bit of a more pinkish tone to this like stripe down here. I try to use like different tones of purple just to kind of make things a bit more interesting. So I definitely use that one. It's from the Pastel set that they came out with that my sister gave to me. Yeah, I went in and I drew out all the inside bits of all the crystals with a thinner fine liner, and ended up looking really cool. And then of course went in and added, color to them. And here you'll see me use the Sakura brush pen that I was mentioning earlier to just kind of add some little like light blues to the crystals, and I think it added this really, really nice effect to them. I think it looks really good. So this is what my first 2 pages look like, and with that done, let's go into the monthly spread. I tried to change things up a little bit this time and switch my monthly calendar. Also, this was a small intermission for when I went to get tea because I was needing a caffeine fix. So getting back into it, I tried to just change things up a little bit for this month and put my grid on to the left rather than I always do it on the right. That's the extent of it, really. I didn't really change much more besides adding a little mood tracker at the bottom, but you guys will see that in a bit. So I added my 5x5 grid boxes to make my little calendar, I guess, and I put those to the left side of the spread so then I could have my monthly goals, tasks, and YouTube planner over on the right. And then I used my Sakura brush pen to add little blue marks at the top where I'm going to write the days of the week, and use my Tombow dual brush pen in violet to just add a little stripe separating the days of the week, I guess. I don't really know what this is for, I just really like the look of it, I'll be honest. And then of course added a little March moment over there at the top, in case I ever forget what month we're on, I guess. And of course added my goals and my YouTube video planner just over here at the right. I then of course added all the days of the month into each box, and after that I went in and added some crystals, obviously everywhere, and basically tried to fill in most of the gaps with some nice crystals. And I left the whole bottom area that you can see there empty as I'm adding a little mood tracker. So I feel like I've been missing my mood tracker, and it's been missing in my life a little bit as I haven't done a mood tracker in months now. So I decided to bring it back and make it a little bit more easier to fill out, so it's like right on the first spread of the month. Hopefully that will be easier for me to fill out and it'll be easier for me to track my moods, I guess. And I'll show you guys in a bit as to how I'm going to fill it in, but basically I just pick a color and I just fill in one of the 5 moods, I guess. So it'll end up looking like a sort of graph, I guess. You'll see. So I went in, of course, with my Fineliners and just added all these little lines inside the crystals everywhere. It was actually very therapeutic to do this over and over again. I really enjoyed it more than I was expecting. And then of course added some purples everywhere. And also, can we really talk about my new mug? Isn't it the cutest thing you've ever seen? It's got a little cat face on it, and it's got little cat ears, and it's adorable. It's from Home Bargains and I am in love with it. So yeah, basically after I did that, I went in with my Staedtler highlighter and just added some, pinkish toned purples here and there, mainly on my goals section and my YouTube planner. And I think it added a really nice, pop of color. And this is just me showing you a demo of how I fill in my mood tracker. So there's 5 different ones, and depending on how I feel, I'll fill in whichever mood, I guess. So with that done, we're going into my habits tracker, and I am keeping the same theme that I did last month. So drawing out my little icons and then having a sort of chart as well happening. then of course filling out all the empty spaces with some crystals. And for this one I thought it would be cool to change it up a bit and do like some crystals hanging by some thread and looking like some sort of, I don't know, those things that you see when you enter some shops sometimes and they jangle a little bit. I think that would look really, really cool, so I decided to change it up a little bit and do that for this spread. So I drew all these crystals just kind of cascading down the page, and then just drew some strings basically hanging them up. And I really liked how it looked. And then of course added a load of purples on all of them. And basically did a very simple expense tracker, as I always do. I basically just added some crystals over at the top there, and that's pretty much how much decoration I added to this. I like keeping this spread pretty simple. All I do is just basically color in every other line with my Tombow brush pen in grey, so I can differentiate the lines and the rows more easily, but that's pretty much it. So then after these two pages were done, I basically went over to my next spread, and because March starts on a Friday, I decided to, for the last month, do the last 4 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in February, and then start my first week on a Friday, so it would only be like half a page. So for the other page that I had, I decided to add my YouTube and life planner at the beginning rather than at the end, which is what I normally do. If you are, here regularly and watch my bullet journal videos, you'll know that I usually put this page right at the end. For this month, I decided to add it over here since I had a spare blank page, and start my first weekly spread on the right there. So I've been trying this new sort of spread theme for my weeklies. I saw Amanda H. Lee do it in some of her videos, and I really wanted to try out this spread type, which is basically adding the days of the week closer to the middle of the pages, and then using the columns on the far right sides of the page for either events or just filling out with doodles. You'll see what I mean when I do my full 2-page weekly spread on the next page, but this was just a little demo for the first 3 days of the month, I guess. And I just basically added a bunch of crystals everywhere, and I added some crystals also for the days of the month, which I thought looked really cool. And also, I'm sorry about all the lighting changes throughout this video. The sun was very undecisive on this day, I guess, and it just kept going and coming. It was weird. So sorry about that. But yeah, this is what I mean when I meant having all the days of the week close to the middle of the page, and then having sort of 2 columns on each side of the spread. And I think it looks very cohesive and nice, and it's very simple and easy to use. So I've been enjoying this spread type a lot recently. So then I added a bunch of crystals for each day of the week, except for that last one at the bottom, because that's for my goals and tasks for the week. So it differentiates it a little bit. And then I added the days of the week before I added the little lines inside each crystal, so they wouldn't overlap really, so I could see them a bit better. This took a lot of, trial and error before I tried this, since I was very new to this sort of spread type. So then I filled in the columns on the sides with basically a bunch of crystals, since I don't really have that many events happening this week, so I wouldn't really need a whole 2 columns for my events, if that makes any sense. But obviously you can change this about to however you want. You could also have a mood tracker on one of these columns, or you can really add whatever you want to all this spare space that you've got, which is really nice. And after adding all the color into all these crystals and everything, that was it, done. So yeah, I'm giving you guys a little bit of a flip through of what we've done today. Thank you so much for joining me for this planning session. I really enjoyed how everything turned out. Very proud of it, and I hope you guys like it. And if you do recreate any of these designs, obviously tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see them. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a wonderful March, guys. Bye bye.